Joining us now, Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations and Research for Judicial Watch. You know, Chris, so they have to prove intent in a criminal case, which is why in most cases when people evade taxes, it is a civil penalty. They have to pay a fine, a penalty, interest, back taxes. And normally when they're convicted in a criminal case, you do about a year behind bars. Robert Mueller is asking for 305 years behind bars for Paul Manafort. Is this another example of the malevolence and the abusiveness of Robert Mueller?
Pure overkill and pure abuse of power. This is so over the top, so excessive, such a really reckless exercise in order to try to squeeze Manafort into saying anything that they can possibly dream of against President Trump or his close advisors. This is the judicial abuse at the same level as the investigative abuse where they were trying to steer an election. Well, now they're trying to delegitimize and conduct lawfare against a sitting president. It's outrageous.
I would underscore the term outrageous. You're absolutely right. Let me go to something else, because you have been able to, through a lawsuit, get your hands on FBI documents they never wanted you to see. Now, it's true that they are ridiculously redacted, which is what the FBI does. They routinely hide and conceal evidence and deceive FOIA requests as well as courts. But you found out through these documents that Christopher Steele, the author of the anti-Trump dossier, who was on the payroll, by the way, of Hillary Clinton, he was a confidential source, an undercover agent for the FBI between January 1st, 2016 and November 1st, 2016. That's 7 months before the FBI signed papers formally launching the Trump-Russia case, right?
You're exactly correct. And the documents we obtained today through a FOIA lawsuit in federal court detail both a period when Steele was admonished by the FBI. He had done something wrong.
Probably lied,
or he was being cute and he was, basically being an intelligence peddler. He was selling information from one client and simultaneously providing it to the FBI for an additional fee. That's speculation on my part, but that's also based on my past life experience dealing with less than scrupulous sources. That's the sort of thing that will get an admonishment. And then, of course, finally, we see today the termination paperwork where the FBI cut him loose because he had revealed or exposed his confidential human asset relationship with the FBI.
All right, so the FBI and the Department of Justice used this phony fabricated dossier, unverified, to gain a wiretap warrant from a FISA court. That was sometime in October, and of course the FBI redacted the exact date. But does it look to you like, based on the sequence of events and these documents you've obtained, that the FBI and the Department of Justice knew that Christopher Steele was a liar before they ever filed their application to spy?
Absolutely. I mean, they had sufficient grounds. They already had admonished him for some kind of misconduct. And then they knew the kind of game that he was playing. And, of course, eventually they had to disclose to the court in very soft, I would say dishonest terms, that they had terminated him because of his unreliability and his falsehoods. Look, they had a lot of guilty knowledge. They were not forthcoming with the court. In my opinion, they perpetrated a fraud upon the court.
Right.
Those warrants were unlawfully obtained. They did not contain full, complete, accurate information. And you had supervisory special agents and senior Justice Department officials signing off on them. I mean, this is compounding perjury as you go along.
I wrote a book, The Russia Hoax. It came out about 10 days ago.
I
outlined this. Thank you. I outlined this very argument in the book. And the other thing I point out, I dug through court documents in Great Britain where Christopher Steele admits that his phony dossier is not only questionable in terms of its veracity, but he also says it's unverifiable. In other words, nobody could possibly verify it because it's based on quadruple hearsay and anonymous sources.
It's a work of fiction, is what it is. I mean, somebody could draft up a novel or something and submit it to a court. That doesn't mean it's real or it's true or it's accurate. There's all sorts of, look, it's reckless and it's corrupt as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I've read that dossier. Anybody can read it online. You should, because it's guaranteed to get a laugh. I mean, it's utterly ludicrous. I never fail to laugh when I read this thing. So the FBI knew it was phony. I mean, you just look at it and it's preposterous. And
I mean, as laughable as it is, the tragic part, the outrageous part is it's the predicate, it's the foundation for, a year-long surveillance of somebody who had virtually no connection to the campaign.
Right.
And it's part of this whole, Russia hysteria, which is a manufactured lie.
Is it clear to you, and as I write in the book, it's clear to me, that the Trump-Russia collusion investigation was really triggered by this phony dossier? The initial memo was written June 20th. And on the very day that Comey is clearing Clinton, the FBI is meeting in a building in London secretly with Christopher Steele, who surely gave them the dossier. And 3 weeks later, they formally signed the papers to launch the Trump-Russia case.
Yeah, there's no coincidences here. I mean, when you look at the timeline, it is incredibly damning. There's a lot of guilty knowledge. There's a lot of perjury. There's a lot of very deliberate, there's a sequence of actions that show that this is a planned out, deliberate, corrupt effort to steer an election. It's that simple.
And if you want to read more about it, read The Russia Hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton and frame Donald Trump. Chris Farrell, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Greg.